Brothers and sisters, Buddha by attainment to Buddhahood not only realized the truth, he also realized a path that will help others to follow and realize the same truth. And that path is the fourth noble truth which Buddha realized. It has 8 links: right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, samadhi, realization of the Four Noble Truths, and right thought. Of the 8 links, the first 3 links refer to your virtue. It is accepted that even the 5 precepts, if one observes carefully, is sufficient for the attainment. That covers all your activities regarding the body and expression. If one wishes to observe more precepts, he could do so, the 8 precepts and the 10 precepts. And if one wishes to go further, then he could enter the order of monks and observe number of precepts in the way of his conduct as a bhikkhu. One would ask the question, what is the use of virtue in this path? Virtue controls your bodily acts and your expression. Well, it clearly stated that all our activities are committed as a result of a thought arising in us. Mind is the forerunner of all our activities. So you could well imagine, if you commit a wrong in the way of a bodily act, or commit a wrong in the way of expressing, either false or gossiping or slandering, or words which would hate the feelings of another, such expressions are committed as a result of a thought arising in your mind. In regard to these activities, bodily act and expressions, they are both committed as a result of a thought arising in your mind. And it has to be accepted that you commit something wrong, you commit that wrong with the awareness of the consciousness, and the consequent reaction is that you will be repenting for what you have done. I did this, I shouldn't have done that. I hurt the feelings of so and so. I created displeasure in so and so. Such feelings arise. Would you ask the question yourself, if such feelings arise in your mind, will there be calmness in your mind, peace in your mind? You will have a turbulent mind, always protesting against you of yourself. Why did I do this? I should not have done that. That sort of thought arises in mind and disturbs your mind. That is why Buddha considers virtue as an essential quality one should maintain prior to making an effort to fix your mind at one point. Mind has a tendency to wander about. That tendency of the mind is not the quality of the mind. It's something which you made the mind to perform. That's a pattern of behavior which you introduce into the mind. There are 6 sense bases which thus the mind performs in the creation of thought. So invariably you will find that your consciousness is always in movement from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, hunting for objects to perform the activities of sense bases. It not only hunts for such objects, it also reflects on experiences gained through by entertaining such objects. If such experiences are of pleasant nature, then the result would be the development of attachment in you, which attachment will make you to develop more and more such attainments and create the desire in you. If such thoughts were of an antagonistic nature, which is against something you have done, or not in appreciation of an experience you have gone through, then naturally that also begins to react in your mind in the nature of producing more and more thoughts about it. That results in creating hatred in the mind. I've often told you that this desire which is created in the mind is a way of producing more and more thoughts about what you have experienced in the sense basis, or in the alternative, that disgust that you create in the mind because you did not appreciate that object that has attracted sense base, thereby created the ill feeling or dislike or animosity or anger, whatever it may be. They are of different grades only, but perform the same function. In order to create an aversion in your mind, these two things, they promote the desire. That is how desire maintains itself. Desire needs constant feeding. Why should desire have constant feeding? Because it is not a quality of the mind. It is something which you have created in the mind. It's not part and part of the mind. When you have created something, to maintain that creation in that condition, one has to feed the creation. And the way one would feed this creation of desire or attachment is to fall into one of the categories of either aversion or attachment. And these two things you produce as a result of random thoughts which you produce about objects of experience gained in the sense space. Therefore, the mind needs certain amount of calmness in your conduct and behavior, so that it could peacefully settle on the one-pointedness you create. If there is a pull this way or the other way as a result of activities committed by you, the mind is not at rest. Now basically that is one should adopt tranquility, to create the tranquility of the mind, to maintain an undisturbed mind by activities which you have committed. And that is what virtue contributes. You may tighten your belt, so to say, by observing more and more precepts, thereby not permitting any loophole anywhere, any circumstance anywhere to commit an act which would harm your tranquility. But what is essentially needed is the five precepts are basically fulfills the requirement of virtue. Now after that, that is something which you have to observe when you carefully analyze virtue. Something which you have to observe. So to say, there is not much effort is necessary to observe that, except of course that you have to be careful not to commit a breach of the precept that you have observed, and thereby a careful watch has to be made. But that is something that has to develop on its own, so to say. There is no way to develop it unless you observe the precepts. And you make a determination, I shall observe the five precepts carefully, that's all. If there could be a lapse, observe the precepts again. What is exactly needed is, at the time of you're making the effort to keep the mind at one point, what is the condition of your mind? It is well settled, no disturbance from outside in the way of commitment which you have done earlier. All those are just past incidents, they cannot be brought back to the present. At the present moment, what you are doing is you are keeping the mind quiet and peaceful by activities in no way harmful to that behavior of the mind. You are peaceful. Then the three other qualities that one has to develop after you have fulfilled the requirement of maintaining virtue are the essential, are so to say, the effortful activity on your part to follow the path are in these three things. right effort, right mindfulness, and right samadhi. You know something about the religion. You know this philosophy is philosophy where you purify your mind and transcend the mind to a higher state so that it could realize the true nature of things. For that activity, training of the mind is very essential. So these three things like right effort, right mindfulness and concentration are the qualities of that mind which you expect to maintain. What is the right effort? It refers to four things. It first refers to the development of the good qualities you have in you. You are, for example, very conscious of not hurting the feelings of others. You have that metta in you, developing you. It's something you are born with. To develop that to a higher degree. That's a good quality in you. Likewise, there are other good qualities in each of us. And we identify them and develop them to a high degree. Object of following Buddha's path is the development of the mind. And these qualities which are good and which you maintain need be developed to that degree of attainment when such attainment can contribute to it. Understanding and realization of the truth. After developing what is good in you, you may make an effort to develop other things that are necessarily good in you. In the sense, samadhi is not there in you, but that is an essential quality. So you make an effort to develop that good quality in you of fixing the mind at one point and transcending that mind to a higher state. Those are two things that you must make an effort to perform. Two other things that you should also observe, realize, understand that these qualities which are in me are not conducive to my development along this path. They are not good qualities. Example, getting angry or that sort of behavior is not helpful to your development. Therefore, you are aware that I am subject to anger. Fighters, occasion is enough for me to go and find fault with somebody. I don't have that amount of patience in me to bear up a thing like that. Now that's something which you have identified as a bad quality in you. That quality is absolutely an obstruction to your development along the path. Make it a point, make every effort to get rid of that. Practice metta. I am practicing metta. When I come across something which upsets me, I practice metta. When I confront myself with a person whom I do not like, I practice metta on him. And so to say, I live in metta whenever I can. And you are bound to develop your metta so that you could maintain a very tranquil mind, full of metta to everybody, which indirectly and directly promotes your attainment along the path. That's something which you have identified in your mind as something bad, and now you have made an effort to bring about a change in your attitude. And you have done so well in developing metta in you. And Buddha also says, do not permit to expose your mind to develop anything that which is not conducive to following this path. Something bad. You see, you keep company with bad people. And that association has developed in you qualities which are not conducive to your development along the path. For example, you are a non-smoker. Your bad company has created that feeling to smoke. Enjoy a cigarette now and again. That's something which is not necessary. Likewise, there are many other deeper aspects that one has to be careful about in protecting your mind from getting contaminated by your wrong association. Therefore, pick and choose whom you should associate. And those whom you associate should be always people who will promote within you the qualities that are necessary for the development along the path. Well, if you make a right effort like that, every morning when you get up, what is the effort I should make today? I have this angle, I must get toward that angle, and practice metta right throughout the day. Likewise, identify these defects in you and overcome them. I've often emphasized that Buddha is only the founder of the path, and it is not for him to physically lead anyone to Nibbana. He could give you all the guidance necessary, all the instructions necessary for you to build up yourself by yourself. That is something which you must bear in mind. He found the path for us, but he does not take the responsibility of guiding one into Nibbana. That's a matter left to you. That is why he says, be a light unto yourself, and don't seek refuge from outside, for there is none who can help you. If you seek refuge, it must be from within you. That clearly indicates to us the part he plays along and about this path, and what we are expected to perform. That is something which you must bear in mind. Effort must come from within. No amount of worshipping or offering will help you in that. Maybe you become more and more devoted to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha, but that doesn't help you. We have undertaken to go along the path for our final liberation because we have all the devotion to Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha for all that these three truths have done to us. Then Samadhi has to be developed. Samadhi has to be developed. Before I touch on Samadhi, I explain to you what this mindfulness means. As human beings, we are all absent-minded. Like a lunatic in the asylum, he does not know what he is doing. He commits acts on the spur of the moment, irrespective of what results they would accrue. You also do the same thing. You don't know what you are doing. We expect to be reasonable beings born on this earth, human beings, but the essential quality that one should possess is to be aware of all that you are doing. Are you aware of all that activity that takes place in you? When you see something beautiful, when you create feelings of attachment to that object, are you aware that you are creating feelings of attachment to that object? It automatically happens in you. When you meet somebody whom you do not like, the mere sight would create thoughts of aversion in you. Are you awareingly creating these thoughts of aversion, or is it just a spontaneous rising in your mind as a reaction to what you saw? That is where we are faulty. Why are we maintaining that attitude as a human being? Because we have subject ourselves completely to habits. We have created habits in us. When one pursues a habit, there is no thoughtful reflecting on the habit, on the act you commit. No reflection. On the spur of the moment, you commit as a result of the habit. Then what are those habits that you have cultivated? You have cultivated habits that will promote a worldly way of life, which is opposed to the truth we are searching. So unless you develop this special good quality in your mind of being mindful, can you ever escape this worldly life that you have been leading? No, you can't. Why? Because when you are not mindful, you commit worldly acts. It is only mindfulness that will help you to check your condition of mind. Check your activity. I said, don't do that. That is against what you are trying to achieve. And how are you going to check this? Oh, births and births you have led the worldly life. Your entire temperament is so fashioned to lead this worldly life. What is the quality that can be created in you to check this way of behavior of yourself? Mindfulness and nothing else. Mindful always, not permitting the mind to fall back to its old way of life, old way of behavior. Which behavior is promoting the worldly life. And mindfulness is an essential quality which you must bear in mind, and that is the key to the development. That is the key to you getting rid of the defilements. That is a very, very essential quality which you must make special effort to develop within you. If the mindfulness is not there, what happens to you? You may make an effort to develop yourself. Maybe that you may reach certain heights in your development, but when you give up that effort and when you are not mindful, you will fall back again to your old condition. Because you will start practicing the same old habits which are worldly and which are completely opposed to the development you expect to take place in your mind. You unmindful, you commit those acts. And they break down, they destroy that little development you have created in your mind towards the attainment. Therefore, I always emphasize, when you come to a place like this as yogis, you must be extremely mindful. Talk less. A word or two when necessary. But you follow, your mind follows every activity of yours, bodily, and also in the creation of thoughts. That which is only conducive, that which is only applicable, that which is only healthy to your development of the mind towards your liberation, you shall commit, and not any other. You have to admit the fact that as a worldling you have committed many acts which are right opposed to what you expect to attain, which promotes a worldly behavior, which promotes a behavior of worldling subject to suffering. Therefore, be mindful. And Buddha knew that for a worldling who has not practiced mindfulness, it's rather difficult for him to immediately practice mindfulness and be aware of all activities he commits. His mindfulness is a great quality. It's an essential key leading you along the path. But mindfulness, Buddha introduced in such a manner into you that it got rooted very well in you. How did he introduce this mindfulness? He said in the first instance you can't be aware of all the commitments because your mind is not fashioned that way, shaped that way. So what you should do is make it a physical effort. How do you make mindfulness a physical effort? There are 4 postures which you commit always. When you are not sleeping, when you are sleeping, of course you are lying. When you are aware, when you are awake, you will be either standing or sitting or walking or resting. These 4 postures, Buddha said, mindfully do it. You can't just say I'm sitting and be mindful of sitting and forget about sitting. Be conscious of that sitting. I'm seated. When you get up, when you stand, you can't just say I'm now standing and forget about further activity of the body. Be aware of that in the change take place either in the case of walking or lying. After that we are aware, live with that mindfulness right now. So Buddha introduced mindfulness into you by observing the physical activity of your body. Not all activity in the first instance, but the 4 postures of standing, sitting, walking and lying. That you can do, brothers and sisters, when you are in the office. Who will ask you the question, what are you thinking? No one knows what you are thinking. But you are maintaining mindfulness in yourself. When you get up, you are mindful. When you sit, you are mindful. When you walk, you are mindful. When you lie, you are mindful. That is the basic of mindfulness. That has to be developed within you. Otherwise, you may try your best to be mindful in all activities. You will never be mindful in all activities. Why? Because you have led the worldly life for many millions of births where mindfulness is not a quality that you ever thought of. And your pattern of behavior as a worldling was just opposed to the mindfulness, unmindful behavior of yourself. Where I ask you the question, can you ever reflect on the few hours of the past and say, I did this, I did that in an orderly manner, relate to me as to how you spent your time up to this moment. None of you can. Because you may have committed 1,001 things which you are not aware of. How did you commit those acts? Habit. Habit. Habitually you are walking, habitually you are standing, habitually you are sitting, habitually you are lying. So there is no necessity for one to be thinking when one is standing, one to be thinking when one is sitting, one to be thinking when one is walking, and one to be aware that one is lying. So those are habitual acts. That habituality in you is the thing that has enabled you to be unmindful. Habituality. You are a slave to habits. If I go further, I shall say that all your defilements are habits and nothing else. You habitually conduct yourself in an unmindful manner and indirectly promotes the worldly way of life. It is this unmindfulness, is this pattern of behavior of yours that has promoted this worldly life. You are now going to break it. Completely leave out that pattern of existence. Get rid of it and see the true state of things. What is the true state of things that you are going to be aware of? Everything in this world is subject to change. Everything is in this world when it is subject to change, it's of no value, emptiness. Everything in this world, though it appears to be existing but not existing. Those are the three things that one has to be mindful ultimately. Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Imagine, brothers and sisters, if you can be mindful in respect to all your activities and always bearing in mind that everything is impermanent. What is the condition of your mind? Will there be any attachment left in that mind of yours? Can you call anything your own? Can you call your body your own or your mind your own? No, nothing. Everything is subject to constant change. There's nothing substantial in this. Nothing existing as such. Constantly changing from one condition to another. That is the final mindfulness that you have to maintain and develop in yourself. Always live in awareness that everything is subject to change. Past is over. You can't recover the past. Future is yet to come. Present is one flow from one condition to another. One constant change going on. Beware of that. That is going to be the final mindfulness of yours. You live in that awareness that everything is constantly changing. And you have developed to such an extent your mindfulness, you are aware that what you have done in the past is over, they cannot be reclaimed. You can't bring any of those conditions to the present moment. It's merely a thought and nothing else. All that is to occur in the future you may plan out, but they are yet to come. So what are you confronted with? A constant change going on at this moment. And what is there in it? Nothing but anicca, impermanent. That is the truth you have to realize and live with. Imagine yourself when you live in that truth. What would be your condition of life for a free man? You can't think of the past that is finished, complete. Because that cannot be recovered, brought back to the present. Over. You have no thoughts thinking of the future because that is yet to come, not occur. We always hang on the thing we are doing. And is there anything that we do here too? Present moment. Maybe the present moment, the very present moment you think of will be a fraction of a second. Is that a static fraction of a second? It's a changing fraction of a second. Therefore, is there anything in you? How do you know that you have a body? It's a thought only. How do you know that there is a world right round? It's a thought only. And that thought is what you have created just now. Where is it now? Gone, past, finished. So this is going on in you now, constantly changing from one condition to another. Well, that is a high aspect of mindfulness. But basically you must develop mindfulness. Mindfulness will not only help you to realize the truth, but also will help you to develop your mind to a higher degree. Because ultimately it is mindfulness that is helping you to fix the mind at one point. Mindful of the present moment, changing moment, you are there, that's all. Past, you're not going to reflect on the past. Or create a future for us, no. Mindfulness is helpful to you to realize the truth. At the same time, you develop your mind to a high degree in your concentration. And I always emphasize mindfulness is an essential quality unless you develop this mindfulness as required by the philosophy of Buddha. That degree of perfection, which enables you to realize that the present moment in which you live in is not a moment that is static, but a changing moment. Therefore, there is nothing in you. Your body is constantly changing. It has changed in the past. It is to be changed in the future if you exist through that period. Present moment, constantly changing. Reduce that constantly changing condition to a fraction of a second. Will there be a static moment in your body for that fraction of a second? No, it's constantly change. A change condition is there. And what are those that have contributed to the construction of this body of yours? Element. The quality of the element is not to be static at one point, one fraction of a second. Constant change there. The four elements of solidity, liquidity, heat and motion, they are the four things which is the composition of your body. And those four things are not static, constantly change. So is your body. Change that has occurred just a fraction of a second ago is over. The change yet to come, a fraction of a second ahead is yet to come. But what has happened now is the present moment is a constant change of time from one condition to another, and that is the condition of your body. Nothing. If something is impermanent, it's an accepted fact that one cannot hold anything as permanent. Everything is impermanent, subject to constant change. And that is the realistic aspect of life. One has to develop within one to realize this truth in depth. After all, bear in mind, Buddha though speak of many things on the surface, but the deeper aspect of his doctrine is to realize that intricate nature of things which are not found on the surface, but to have to be realized by you by making use of your intelligence and see things in depth. That is where the truth lies. Then we come to the third important thing that you must develop within you, and that is concentration. Many ask, what is the use of concentration? You ask yourself the strength of your mind now. It is of a scattering nature, constantly changing from one condition to another. It hasn't that amount of patience to probe into a thing and see something in depth which is not seen on the surface. So these are the qualities one would acquire by developing the mind to high degree. How is this done? Any power, any force in this world, once you permit that force to scatter about, then it loses its head. In a depth, you see, it loses that. It becomes just a changing thing, constantly changing and subject to constant change, and goes on like that. But what you are doing now is, in your concentration, you are building up your power by heaping power over the other, one over the other, not allowing it to scatter about, fixing objects here and there, but fixing it at one point and maintaining that. You see, strength of the mind being piled one over the other, thereby what happens? It teaches a transcendent state, a powerful state which has the capacity to see through things, realistically understand that which is not found on the surface but found in depth. Ability also for you to concentrate a few seconds about a matter which you cannot understand at the moment you concentrated, but subsequently you will realize through the concentration the true nature of the object. All of us have scattered minds. It is a scattered mind that created this world for you. Who created the world? This scattered mind. getting objects through the eye, ear, nose, body and tongue, one after the other, and either creating an attachment to aversion to each of those experiences you gain through six sense bases. Therefore, you have concentration developed within you, an essential quality, because after all the philosophy of Buddha is completely rests on the mental condition, the development of the mind too, and seeing things through the development of the mind, then not through a mind that has not developed, because they are very, very intricate, subtle truths. They don't you very often. If your mind is prepared that way in the way of concentrated mind, when they dawn to you, you will see completely different picture than you saw before. And all that dawning when you have developed your mind is for your benefit. They are not misleading you, they completely lead you up the right path for you to realize the true nature of things. Therefore, development of the mind is essential in concentration. Is this something which you are introducing into the mind? No, brothers and sisters. Engaged in matters which are not true, which are imaginary? No, it's not for that. This is mental energy, is a very, very settled energy. But you misused it. To that extent that you have created very powerful habits in the mind. Such habits are practiced often in the mind by you with your support. And the result is the mind has lost its true nature and living on a condition which you have created to accommodate your foolish notions, accommodate false views you have created, accommodate wrong impressions you have created about things that are around you. Therefore, you need some attention to be paid to the mind. Fix the point at one point. Watch the movement of the breath from there. I always say that your breathing in and out is a bodily act committed by the body. In that activity, concentration or consciousness does not play any part. Therefore, you can fix the mind at any point and then watch that place. If the activity you watch is something which has nothing to do with concentration, in and out breathing is what you are going to watch. That is not a mental act, it's a purely a bodily act. The body is doing that. The mind has nothing to do with that activity. So from a point outside, you can watch what is happening within you in that respect. And that is what is wanted. But you have not done so in the past. You have created such a false habit in yourself that you can't even keep the mind at one point, which is a physical act which we expect for you to commit. Because the force of habit we have introduced into the mind now makes that mind difficult to fix at one point and watch moving. But effort will ultimately overcome it. You make an effort. Make an effort. When it runs away here and there, make an effort. Bring it back. If 10 times would satisfy you, another person, it may be 20 times that will satisfy you to bring the mind to concentration. And they may not have the entire day any concentration at all. It's just one mass of hubble moving from one to the other. Creating circumstances for you. Therefore, concentration. With a concentrated mind, we then build up the 4 absorptions. The purpose of building up the absorptions is to have a hold on the development of the mind. We are not allowing a power just to grow like that upwards. Because if you allow that to happen, you will not be able to catch this object in such time it reaches a stage when it can just rest. And there are places where the mind can conceal itself, asanya loka. And it can enter into any of these things and you will be just there like that till it comes out on its own. But here the 4 conditions, 4 absorptions hold the mind and do not permit the mind to go beyond a limit when such limit is the limit which we make use of to realize it. Therefore, practice the absorption. That's not difficult, but this is necessary. That's all. In anything, effort is necessary. Here, you You are again trying to overcome a habit which you have created or permitted the mind to scatter about in search of sense objects. You are now making the mind to fix itself at one point against the very habit which you have created of wandering, allowing the mind to wander. Therefore, certain effort is necessary to overcome the old habit. Make an effort. Don't get discouraged because you cannot fix the mind at one point. That is the nature of the mind. Some people take weeks to do that. Others may take months. I know cases who have even made an effort, I don't know, they say, even beyond a year to realize it. The concentrating aspect of it. Mind has that quality, only thing is here. Overlook that quality so much that it is in the very far depth of the mind that we brought to the surface now. That your effort is the answer. Make it. Then once you have done the three things that you are expected to do, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. In the two things, benefits of which you will are, the four nobles will soon realize. What is suffering? The cause of suffering and dukkha. One would get rid of it. The cause of suffering as attachment and desire. If one would get rid of desire or attachment, to gain the final liberation. The path one has to follow is the Eightfold. So when you think of these brothers and sisters, Buddha has taught us a philosophy which is rational in every respect. There's none who can challenge at anything at any point. That you have the preachings of the Buddha who gives you the assurance that you will be a liberated person once you reach that height of liberty. He gives the history of yourself as a worldling in the unparticipated path, dependent origin. And finally, he advocates a certain pattern of behavior on your part, which pattern of behavior will lead to the development of virtue, concentration, and mindfulness, which ultimately will help you to get rid of desire and thereby attain Nirvana. Therefore, this path shown by Buddha is a very, very clear path, brothers and sisters. There is nothing to doubt about it. And mind you, there may be books and books and books written on Buddhism by various pandits, by various types of people who have very peculiar views. All that is their views. But for you and I, there's nothing further for us to follow. The truths revealed by Buddha in this exposition of this theory to the world. That is a very, very clear one. Develop yourself in Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, concentration and wisdom. And after that you fight against your own consciousness, against bad things that it had cultivated in this life of birth and death. Bad things, when I say, things which are conducive to a continuity of this life of yours. We are dissatisfied with that continuity and we are now trying our level best to end this life as early as possible so that there will not be any more future births for us. When there are no births, there is no suffering for us. That is all what we try to achieve, and it can be done, brothers and sisters, if only you make the right effort. Right effort. Give the necessary guidance and make the right effort. You are assured of the results of that effort, and that is Nibbana. May you all attain it.